So I think AI has gotten a bad rap, frankly, this year. And that's also because, a lot of enterprises kind of drank the Kool-Aid from a lot of the big software companies that it's going to eliminate, you don't need customer service. You don't need developers. It's like, okay, take a big chill pill. SaaS is not dead. Software service is not dead. It's about augmentation. It's about the human that's called human in the loop that really is the starting point for just the discovery process.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Get Real, the podcast where we talk to people in tech, business, and beyond.
Yeah, so today's guest is super fun for us, not just because of all his experience in IT, but because he also happens to be Cari's husband. So please welcome Mark Smith.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So let me just do a quick bio introduction. Mark is the partner and Chief Software Analyst, which is a really impressive title, by the way, at ISG.
You have to say that, right, Cari?
I like it. The leading global advisory on enterprise software and digital modernization. He spent more than 30 years. Okay, so Mark, I just usually say 20 plus. That's kind of the standard.
Well, you can say 35 plus.
Are you correcting his bio right now?
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
My bio is publicly available on the ISG website.
He spent a shit ton of time shaping how businesses adopt technology, from his leadership roles at SAP and Oracle to founding and running Ventana Research. He's also an Eagle Scout and a longtime mentor in scouting. I, therefore, am a Scout Widow, as they are called, helping youth reach their potential. It's a big part of who Mark is. So that's the quick little bio. Welcome, Mark. We're so happy to have you here. It took us a while to get you to join us.
I don't know. Where have I been? I have no idea.
You guys need to do where in the world is Mark Smith instead of where's Waldo, and we can do push pins.
Yes. I can guarantee you it's on a United Airlines 787 somewhere in the world.
I was telling Cari I have to fly Alaska this weekend, and I have no status anymore because everything's on Delta, and I had to pay for bags. And I was so mad. I was like, who pays for bags? I was like, this is crazy. Yeah. Not happy.
Bags?
I was
Who pays for bags? I think on Southwest you have to pay for bags now too. So
yeah.
Everybody.
Unfortunately,
I'm sure Mark does not pay for bags on United. Yeah.
No. I got that. I think I got those free after 1 million miles. 2 million miles, I didn't get a pat in the back. And at 3, I'm not sure what I get.
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out. Hopefully it's like a watch or something, right?
Oh, maybe. Probably not. It's probably some bad peanuts and flashback from the 90s or something.
Yeah. Biscoff cookies. I ate 6 packs last week on my flight to New York.
Oh, my gosh.
I was like, okay, so.
All right.
So today, guys, we're gonna dig into AI a little bit, enterprise software. I'm told we're gonna talk about Samoyeds, and there's some fun stories outside of work. So I guess let's dive in.
Great.
So as Cari pointed out, you've obviously been in the tech space for a long time. I won't repeat how long. From founding Ventana to your current role. So what first drew you to enterprise software and has kept you hooked all these years?
Wow, what's got me hooked? That's that's a very long story across a couple too many decades. But I guess I've always been passionate about software just because it's a continuous learning effort. I mean, software is always changing, and now it changes. Every minute of every day, there's something new coming out, and when you're trying to lead a team that tracks, 2,500 plus software writers, there's never a dull moment. And intellectually just continues just to, keep me thirsty for learning more. And I'm a big believer in continuous learning. And there's never something you never know everything when it comes to enterprise software. That's for sure.
Yeah. For sure. And I think with AI, which is, I know what everyone's talking about, and I know we're going to cover a lot today, that's become a huge focus of your recent research. Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, well, I guess you could say I've probably been on a 2+ decade path with AI because, I mean, listen, I mean, machine learning, modeling, all the tenets of AI have been evolving since the 80s. I got more heavily involved in the early 90s. And so, I've been interacting with AI at different stages of evolution for quite some time. So, but it is a hell of a lot more intelligent these days. And, having your own personal, professor at your fingertips definitely, helps on the every hour part of your job, right?
Yeah, for sure. We just had this conversation, right? I mean, we had someone, team member saying, I'm basically running my job, right, with AI, and I can do way more than I could. And even just a couple months ago, right? It's pretty crazy. So,
It is,
Yeah.
absolutely.
We have on our team, the group gets together weekly to share, I think it's called AI Curiosity or something, where they get together and just talk about, new things that they're trying and, things that they're hearing about. And, I guess on the meeting that they had today, there were so many aha moments. And I told Dana, like, I have aha moments literally
yeah.
every day. It's crazy. It's like, I'm always asking, how the fuck did you do that? And it's like, okay, you do this and you open up a project and you look, and connecting everything together. It's just, it's fascinating. It's fascinating. I think in the agency world, it's just such an exciting time to be part of it. So.
Yeah. Well, and for sure in the software world. So, I guess what excites you most about the AI transformation and enterprise software landscape right now?
The AI landscape is, there's the cycles of euphoria, let's call it, in regards to, 2024 was all about generative AI. So everybody was talking
Mm-hmm.
Gen AI, Gen AI. It's good. You're going to be able to ask whatever GPT, and it's going to make you so much more intelligent. And then everybody realized, look, that's still too expensive. Still don't have. It's still not fully ready. So we got to keep developing, and then the new shiny object, of course, we talk about this year is about agentic AI. So it's like, oh wait, we got to talk about agentic AI, right? And we'll talk about 2026 in a little bit, but I think people have to kind of level set and say, okay, well, Gen AI is really about asking questions, getting answers. It's about having that digital assistant in many ways. Agentic AI is all about helping facilitate actions, decisions. It's about the workflows, and both of them are required. But the practical reality is that all the enterprise software is still kind of in its early 1.0 kind of releases of this, and maybe created more frustration and friction with large enterprises. Because marketing always says, "Look, it's magic, it works," and it's like, man, not just yet. So but it's an exciting time for sure, just because of the different infusion of technologies that have been blended together that never have before, right?
Cari, you look like you're in deep thought there, Cari.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
this is
waiting
like
for what she's going
this
to
is like
say.
pillow talk for us, Dana.
Oh boy. I don't know if we talk about AI because our brains are fried.
That might be my favorite statement you've ever said on the podcast.
A night pillow talk. That could be a
Maybe
whole
that's
different podcast
our next.
series.
Yeah, it could be a whole. Yeah, yeah,
You can
yeah.
have a whole
Exactly.
podcast on this, sis.
Well, actually, what I was thinking in my head, what you saw, Dana, was you talk about this evolution, Mark, but like what are companies doing well?
Mm.
And where are they missing the boat here? Because it's everything on everybody's mind. Everybody's talking about it, right? Like what's happening between, what they're talking about and the reality, both in the C-suite, and, for line of business and how are people, really rolling this into their, whether it's agentic or, conversational or whatever, how are they rolling it into their daily lives?
Yeah, well, I won't make any bad jokes that just because everybody's talking about it doesn't mean they're actually doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, let's get the practical reality is that we also at ISG cover the market and financial health. So we report to Wall Street in regards to the trajectory of where software and services spends at. In fact, we just reported this morning on our 92nd quarter. I've only been on two of the 92, but part of what's been changing is really around the investments have been around the collaborative AI, right? They're about how do we get Gen AI, and whether or not that's Gemini, it's Copilot, it's Grok, it's whatever it is. Is most companies have been investing to provide these add-ons, assistance. And that's the practical reality is where there's a lot of money being spent. And most enterprises didn't realize how much money it was going to cost to oh, you want 5,000 people to have seats of that. And you want to have, your own private LLM. So you're not sharing, your knowledge, your client data into the external world. And that's frankly, this year, is where most companies have okay, they've been in trial mode. Okay, we'll do a couple of these, right? And we're doing Chat GPT. We got OpenAI over here, and we got Gemini there. Everybody's trying the models, seeing which one best fit. And the reality is that each of them do a little bit different quality in the use cases and what you're doing with it. And so, that's frankly where a lot of companies are at. And for chief AI officers, it's okay, great. Well, that's okay. It's a productivity enhancer, but it's costing us a lot more, and we're not sure how much productivity we're gaining. And so there's a lot of early research that's coming out. It's 95% of enterprises are failing on Gen AI. And it's okay, I won't name those institutions because a lot of that research is not real. It's kind of flawed. It's small samples. And when you go into companies, they'll say, listen, we're finding that enabling employees to be able to prompt in any level of their work, that's the quality of communications. It's, it's to how do they answer business questions more rapidly because they don't need to have a data analyst anymore, right? Because now they connected to their data stores. I mean, these are taking tasks that could have been 1 or 2 hours down to 1 minute, and most companies are just not good at documenting the improvement of use cases. So I think AI has gotten a bad rap, frankly, this year, and that's also because a lot of enterprises kind of drank the Kool-Aid from a lot of the big software companies that it's going to eliminate, you don't need customer service. You don't need developers. It's okay, take a big chill pill. SaaS is not dead. Software service is not dead. It's about augmentation. It's about the human that's called human in the loop that really is the starting point for just the discovery process. So there's a big level set that I think is what's happening right now. And we're not even, listen, agentic AI is great to talk about, but frankly, there's only just in the last month or two are there really good first releases of agentic AI in a whole range of enterprise software. So there is no such thing as huge success factors just yet. Okay. It's okay, we know that that's going to help us tremendously. We know it's going to help have more intelligent responses to customers, consumers, but it's work in progress. Let's be honest, right? That's the key thing is honesty is the best policy when it comes to AI.
Do you think that companies are going to throw in the towel and say, we're not seeing the benefit of it, we're going to deprioritize it? Quitting too soon, I guess.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, they can't quit because the practical reality is that AI is being infused in every piece of enterprise software. If a software writer is not infusing AI as a digital assistant or in the large language models and all the rest of those things, they're falling behind. And so there's probably not one of the top 500 software companies that doesn't have AI in it. Now, standalone AI, I mean, I think there's some companies saying, okay, wait a minute, we didn't budget at the end of last year, we didn't budget for the amount of money we need for all these wonderful little Gen AI things. And now you're telling me we don't just need one, we might need two. And it's actually cheaper to get enterprise license for both, but that's another 10, 15, $20 million. And well, where's that money going to come from? Okay. CFOs are not just handing out more money to CIOs and chief AI officers. So what's happened in big enterprises this year is cost optimization. How do we squeeze more dollars out of our existing IT investments? Are we using all those CRM seats? Are we using all those ERP seats? Maybe we need to renegotiate our contracts because we're overpaying for that so we can squeeze out money to continue to fuel the AI
I mean,
path.
we've done it and we're on a much smaller scale, Mark,
Yeah.
right? We're going to cut this, this, and this because we've got to pay for this now and
Yep.
it's more important.
Yeah, yeah. And then the
So,
other thing is too is that listen, monitoring is really important because while you give people a bunch of seats, the question is, are they use them?
yeah,
Okay, and if they're not using them, then you need to turn them off and reallocate them. And then
yeah.
there's the governance and security, and we've already heard lots of issues where, well, if you don't give employees the private GPT experience, they're going out to the public ones, and then they're sharing
Yes.
information.
Yeah. They're not even thinking about it. Like they haven't put the two and two together that maybe I shouldn't put that out on the web.
Copy and paste. And you're like, wait a minute, you're just feeding the public
Yeah.
engine, and it
Yeah.
could be serious problems. I mean, we're talking about GDPR violation. We're talking about, potentially, depending on the industry, could even be HIPAA. It could be lots of privacy violations.
Yeah. It's kind of like streaming services. We have to have them all. Nobody can miss out what we're doing, right? So,
Yes.
yeah, it's going to be, it is going to be interesting. I mean, like we thought we could get by with just Gemini and now we're adding chat for everybody and everybody likes chat. I mean, like, so we're paying for that. So we had to kick something else curb. And I'm like, guys, this is expensive a month per seat. So if you're not using it, we will kick you off of it, right? Like just so we're clear.
Yeah.
Because you got Gemini as part of your suite. So I mean,
You're
it's
like, we gave up Zoom for this.
oh my gosh.
Oh, why?
It was still
That
a
was-
nightmare.
That was back when Zoom had better filters than Google. Now Google's got good filters.
Are we allowed to say
Uh-oh.
this in the podcast?
We're
I know
happy
we're going
about
to be
that.
like,
We're picking winners
Picking
and losers. I
sides here.
know. I mean, listen, the practical reality is that all the software is on this continuous evolution, and people are realizing even Microsoft Copilot. Well, it's good for kind of office productivity things, but it's not really good for being your AI assistant and using public information. So it's like, well, wait a minute, that's better done with a Gemini Chat GPT. And, it's like, well, which ones actually do less hallucination and actually communicate better
right.
in the human language? Okay, well, it's not Chat GPT. Okay. And
Yeah.
then you get one GPT checking another one to determine if, one's hallucinating more than the other one, right? I mean, we're still just early on. And listen, this is a huge inflection year. And in a couple of years, we'll look back and say, oh my God, that was like so experimental. And why the hell did we move so fast? Well, because we're always on the thirst for faster, better ways to, make us smarter as humans.
Yeah. It's interesting, Mark. My Alec, is second year. So he went back to school this year and almost all the teachers at OSU have suspended homework. So they don't know. They're so scared of AI. They just like, we're just not doing homework because you're cheating. Instead of let's teach critical thinking skills and how to start incorporating it and not have them cheat with it, but figure out ways to better use it to better. Instead, we're like, we're just not doing, quizzes are going to be worth more. One teacher said, I'm going to do more hands-on experience in class, which is great. But Alex, like, well, so if we're not doing homework and you're not teaching in class, and I can teach myself all this on AI, why am I even going to class? I mean, it's a fair question. I know.
Quiet, and the money machine moves on. But it is interesting because obviously, it's like, okay, students use AI, professors are using AI to challenge if the students is their work. The students are then challenging whether or not they're actually submitting things. It's less AI. And then you started just spinning cycles of like, okay, what are we really trying to accomplish here? And you're absolutely right. Critical thinking and using the gray matter between the ears is so important in this day and age in all corporate roles. No matter if you're a senior executive or you're a junior frontline person, different elements of how do you just continue to explore and learn and how we use this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. We're talking a lot about you have to be curious. It's not black and white. And if
Correct.
you're not, I mean, it's like what you're saying. I mean, part of the reason people aren't seeing the productivity in people is because they literally put it in, they take it out, and we have output slop. Nobody is really like, it doesn't, I mean, it definitely saves time. makes you more efficient, but it also can make your work better.
Yep.
But you got to know how to use it. And there isn't like this like roadmap for how to use it. You're going to have to play and experiment and
Yep.
see, how do I get the best answer? How do I get the best response? How do I get it to know me? But you can see huge wins in the stuff that you're doing.
Yeah, I think I mean, the continuous learning is important, and I think once we see the GPTs actually offering learning classes
Yeah.
and it really helping guide humans, so you don't have to necessarily go to LinkedIn Learning or go everywhere else. I mean, this thing should be automatically assessing your competency and skill of interacting with it and making recommendations. And it's starting to do that, but I'm talking about really kind of forward thinking learning of what is the roadmap for you over the next 2 months to become more intelligent to work with me, your digital assistant, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. So, Mark, let's pivot here and let's talk a little
Okay.
bit about leadership. So, you have held leadership roles in a variety of organizations, over 3 decades. Kind of what is the leadership quality that you feel has kind of remained constant, throughout this incredible transformation of technology? Like, what is the thing when you're, going back to your 18-year-old self, besides saying stop smoking pot and chasing girls?
Wow.
What is the thing that you would tell your 18-year-old self?
My 18-year-old self,
Yeah.
or maybe my 20-year-old self when I jumped into the corporate world in a pretty fast way. You can always reflect back and say, who was my best manager? What was the manager? What were the skills the manager had? What did they do for me at what point in my career? And what was inspiring that, you want to emulate? And then you was like, who was my worst manager? And what are the things you don't want to do?
Yeah.
Okay, so because there's always leadership development and there's always a lot of really great talent development kinds of skills and how do you assess and understand who works for you, but more importantly, your leadership team underneath you, how enabled are they of leading their teams? Okay, so when you get to 3 or 4 levels down, the question now is every level needs to challenge a little below them. Are you doing the best by your team? Are you really a people first approach? Are you worried about what they're doing in their career, or do you just focus on, well, you didn't get the results, so you must be terrible. Okay, so the question now is, what are you doing to enable and empower them to be smarter, to be more impactful, to better be a better team player? Because you can always hire people, but how do you assess, will they be a good team player? We have a joke about, GSD, get shit done. Okay, will they be more worried about chatting and socializing, which is an important part of any role? But they've got to be able to get shit done on a daily basis. And because in this day and age, teamwork is really, it's kind of silly. It is the dream work. And it's not easy for many companies because you're always trying to figure out, okay, which member of my team really needs to step up and which ones need to maybe step down and, to that level of working together. And, every time you bring in a new team member, the dynamic changes, expectations change. And so, the answer question is it's really just getting to the essence of, I believe, what is the individual, how do you make every individual really love what they do and find out what they like to do and what they don't like to do, and then how do you help them always see the positive side of what they're doing in their position. Because if you don't like what you do and you can't help somebody get to what they do, I've always said, go find a job somewhere else. I mean, I'm just blunt. Just say, hey, it's like, this isn't for you. So I encourage you to go find a new job if this is not really what's in store for you. Because if you're going to spend 40 plus hours of your life every week, you better damn well enjoy the people you work with first, and then the position of what you do, and then hopefully the product or service that you're focused on, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you've always been very passionate about what you do. There's no doubt about that. And you put in the long days and, take the time to speak with, the team members and stuff. It's very impressive, I have to say, seeing that firsthand. So, let's talk a little bit about your role as an influencer, right? And, Dana and I have lots of opinions about, influencers and the value that they're able to provide to, companies, purely from a marketing perspective. But, you were one of the early adopters of LinkedIn back in the day, right?
Right.
You were starting to build out, and now you've got, too many people, I guess, that you're connected to that you have to, kind of stay on top of the list because LinkedIn doesn't allow for
For
more, which
10
is,
years, LinkedIn only allows 30,000 connections. And I had this argument with their senior executive staff before they got bought by Microsoft and afterwards. And I said, here's my calculation. Here's how many people I meet every week in briefings and client interactions. And said, yeah, it's great. We're never going to go more than 30,000. And they've kept true to that, which is unfortunate because then you get to the tab and it's like, oh, I met somebody. It's like, I can't connect them. So I got to drop somebody. Okay. So, the dynamic is, okay, well, who do you drop? And I won't get into those details, but, I do know some influencers who have, then you have multiple email accounts. Okay. So, the only way you get around is you have to have multiple LinkedIn accounts. So you have one on your computer with one email account and one on your phone with another one, then you're just like, okay, this is kind of ridiculous.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, LinkedIn is a very powerful tool, a professionally networking tool for sure.
Yeah, but it's so short-sighted of LinkedIn right now. And I'm not because I mean, the stats that we're seeing in influencer marketing and the amount of ad dollars and everything that's going to start moving there. I mean,
Yeah.
consumer driven and LinkedIn is really the platform in the B2B space, right? So
Hmm.
when we look at how B2B
Yes,
companies start to embrace influencers and becoming the authorities, which we're all going to need for AI search and AEO. I mean, it's something's going to have to give, or we're going to start shifting to other platforms where we can have
completely.
those influencer experiences.
It completely. And the question is, well, what is the influencer and what's the, when everything becomes, machine oriented and you're just,
Yeah,
into a GPT, question now is what is the GPT using as a reference point? And that obviously changes the dynamics. So the question is now, well, how do you make your research insights at a certain level of outside of what we call the paywall so
mm-hmm.
that they will show up in traditional, prompts, right? And that's been a passion of mine to always have a certain level of research insights outside the paywall because it drives impressions and then those impressions drive engagement. Engagement drives new visitors. And,
Yeah,
you know, I actually didn't even think what was really possible with LinkedIn until late last year. I was like, okay, maybe I should just try to figure out how I actually do more on it and then use my network to continue to compound the reach of my direct network. So
right.
literally 2 degrees, 3 degrees of separation, and just really push it out there. And so now, like at a million plus impressions on an annualized basis, I'll probably get to 1.5 million by the end of the year on just promoting my research, and then that just drives clicks and engagements to come then read our research, and then get to all that, and then it drives new visitors, new visitor accounts then convert. So we're driving just exponential growth every month, every quarter. I never even think was possible if you asked me a year or two ago. And
Yeah,
that's not even GPT. That's just
yeah,
general, just using just basic tenants. But we're starting to see the GPT because our research isn't being ingested and we do all the
yeah,
good generative work. So yeah, no, it's a lot of fun to see that because we always get into debate. Okay, industry analysts, what's their influence point? Okay, got it. Now the question is it only their community and they have to be a client and they
right.
got to get in the paywall, or do they have an extended reach where what we would call quadrants, those wonderful two by twos, actually, how often are they actually seen
Yeah,
um, outside the paywall, right? And,
yeah.
my bet has always been that other firms keep it locked up unless you pay exorbitant amounts of money. And my side is, no, just promote it and drive more intellectual conversation.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. That was great.
Yeah. Is that your question, Carrie?
It was perfect. Thank you.
Oh my God, it was
I wanted to
fantastic.
give you the chance to say 1 million a year because I know you're very proud of that. So
Oh,
you
well, I'll
should
get proud
be.
when I get to 2 million. It's like getting to three
Yeah.
million miles on United, right? It's a question
I
of
know. I'm like,
um,
between your like impressions and your mileage, I mean,
well, if you think about impressions, I mean, listen, right now, it's, I think I just looked at the last 365 days. It's like, okay, got it. And you get to the million, that's one thing, but then it's the impressions is one thing, but now what is the unique number of people, right? So it's getting close to 300,000 members on LinkedIn that I'm reaching through this. And, I asked I don't publicly post, say, will you please repost and share? I mean, I go to the key executives of top software companies like, hey, congratulations. If you didn't see, we're exemplary leader. And it's like, hey, if you wouldn't mind liking and resharing it. And then all of a
yeah.
sudden it's driving all kinds of dialogue. Sometimes it's like, I didn't like those results. We're much better than that. I'm like, how could you possibly rate us that way? I'm like, well, maybe you should go read the research. Maybe you should actually engage more and figure out how you are best represented in the market.
But this is where B2B in general fails, right? Like these are like basic consumer habits on the like B2C side when we look in social sharing and just influencers and connecting in communities. And I know B2B marketers are super busy. And so this adds another layer of complexity to everything they do. But you literally outside of the, needing to come up in Google search summaries now, like we're seeing the same thing just by posting more stuff on LinkedIn and getting the blogs and the videos up. I mean, we got a lead invited to an RFP, out of that. And this is through organic social and just sharing and becoming an influencer. And I wish like B2B marketers would see how important this is already. And it's just going to become more with AI. And so I think it's a miss. We've talked about it and gone around it for so many years now. And I know it's time consuming because it just, we all just need to check the boxes and go, let's run some ads, let's pay for it, let's create this. And instead we revert to like, let's post our pictures from our trade show on LinkedIn, which is of no value to anybody, right? I jumped on
Yeah.
LinkedIn yesterday and somebody had a picture of their wedding on there. And I was so confused. I thought I might have been on Facebook. And I'm like, they're like, this weekend we got married. I don't know who she is. And I'm like going, it's really weird. Like, why here? Does it have a
I,
story to connect something marketing? Like, does it lead
yeah.
to something? But no, it literally was like wrong platform, guys. I think so. It's
Yes.
understanding where and how to post, right? So
Completely. I'm seeing the same thing. It's like, okay, I'm great. I'm glad I saw what you had for dinner and you went into the store, but it's like, does your professional network really care? I mean,
Right.
personality is one thing, and expressing
Mhm.
personality is and what are those kind of milestones? So, but yeah, I'm seeing people just doing weird things. And I'm
Yeah,
like, go ahead to Instagram or whatever to go post those
right.
things. Because there's always a crossover your personal network and your business network.
Absolutely.
Um, but yeah, my 30,000 connections and 40,000 followers don't care what I had for dinner or if I was angry at United Airlines at San Francisco Airport yesterday, which I
Yeah.
was. Okay. They don't care.
Yeah.
He was. I can vouch for that. Okay, well, we're going to move on to our segment called Rapid Fire Response. And Dana's going to drive this one, but I
Okay.
have one that
You're
I
going to
want
add
to
one in
start
there? Do you
with.
want to
Yeah,
start with it?
let me
Okay. All right.
start with it.
So, do you want me to explain? So, Mark, basically, we're just going to give you some phrases or questions, and it's kind of like first reaction, first thing that comes to mind. So,
Okay.
all
Okay.
right, Cari, you
So
start.
the first one, and I'm curious about this. This is why it popped in my head. So, favorite song on Taylor Swift's new album?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's
Come on. Don't think about it. You got to have
wait,
a
you don't
favorite.
you don't like the song Wood?
It's definitely Taylor's favorite,
Good.
according to her interview on
Well,
Jimmy Fallon.
it's
So,
just very true, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I actually just listened to the whole thing today. It's the first time I
Oh,
had a
really?
chance
you
to
went
listen to
front
it.
to back.
Yeah, I actually liked it. I thought, it was fun. It was, but
Yeah.
I was curious. What's your favorite, Mark?
Well, and I think the thing is, and if you listen to the one where she introduces each song and tells you the background, was kind of
Mm,
fascinating compared to
mm-hmm.
just listening to songs. You're like, okay, I
Right.
think she's actually talking about that person, even though her intro doesn't really tell you who she's really ripping on. There's a story behind the story. which it's always trying to get your mind into, and I love storytelling, and I think that's so much about what marketing's about, but it's about life's about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the favorite parts of music whenever there's a storytelling component to it. So, yeah. So Mark isn't admitting that's his favorite song yet. He's avoiding. Do you have a favorite song on the album? You can just say, I love them all. That could be your easy
I said
cop
would.
out. He is saying would. Okay. All right.
How about you, Dana?
My favorite on there?
Yeah.
I haven't listened to it enough to have a favorite on there.
Okay.
Yet.
You don't like the one with Sabrina Carpenter? I mean, that's pretty good too. So
that is
I like
good.
that one too. Yeah. I like Elizabeth Taylor. Yeah.
Elizabeth Taylor is actually really, it's a good eclectic. There's some people who are like, no, you just like, it's not, she's expressing herself. Okay. You got to respect that. And then if you don't enjoy it, then go to the next song. Okay. Just like it is what it is, right? Artists are artists.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's like the whole, I have a lot of opinions about people who have issues with powerful women. And so she's one of the smartest business women I know. And so you can't you want to talk about just, she knows how to market the shit out of stuff. Yeah. And so that is, I don't know, I respect that.
And if you step over a line, she rightfully should step all over you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So next one, most overhyped buzzword in enterprise tech right now.
Oh, well, Agentic AI is definitely the most overhyped word this year.
All right. A Samoyed personality trait you wish more humans had.
A personality trait would be lovable.
And for those who don't know, Cari and Mark have two Samoyeds, but they've only had Samoyeds have been your main breed you guys have had, right? So
28 years. Yeah, lots of Samoyeds. They're very lovable. They're really engaging. They're curious. They're really curious creatures that just and then they can just be like many different traits. They can be annoying as you know what. When they want their Frosty Paws ice cream, when they want to go for a walk, you are just going, they will just sit on the couch next to you and they will just claw your computer and get 3 inches from your face, let you know what they feel about you.
But we can all admit here that you guys might have created the Frosty Paw need, right? Like
a dog and ice cream. How much is a
my dog has never had a Frosty Paw, so I don't know.
When you think about it, one cup is $1.50 basically. It's $1.75 now. And it's like, but we only do, one for dinner, one each per dinner. But it's when the kids left the house, then it's like, okay, how you spoil your new children, right?
I remember during COVID, Cari's like, I can't find anyone who has Frosty Paws.
It is true.
There was a bleak time.
Yeah, Rolf and Farina couldn't make them fast enough, and people just started spending crazy money on dog ice cream. And you can go online and get recipes, and you can blend them up and make them. But it's like I don't have time for that. I need an Android for that. I need a machine, right?
I know. I need a robot for that. Who's time? I get my dog from Farmer's Dog. People are like, you could make that. I go, I sure could.
Oh no,
but I'm not. So I am. Yeah. Okay. Favorite airline snack as you're earning your way to those 3,000 or 3 million miles.
Favorite airline snack?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I get a free snack box on any flight. So, now the question is, which one, do I like? A Takeoff is my favorite United Airlines snack box. And when I eat it or not, I just take my box because I feel like I deserve it. And I'm going to have it. Then I'll have it in the hotel room as a late night snack. Or I'll bring it home sometimes because I have it on my desk because I have no time to go to the kitchen, right? So I'll be sitting here just eating my United Airlines snack box, right? So,
and they never expire, so you're good.
Well, yeah, because the food has so much preservatives, it's totally like everything else in life, right?
Okay, best outdoor adventure you've recently taken.
Best outdoor adventure. Well, I mean, our outdoor adventure to New Zealand was phenomenal. We visited the South Island, North Island. Didn't even know my cousin from when I grew up as a child lived in the South Island and in Christchurch. But everything from high altitude to being on Glacier Lake and just driving up the countryside and it was just phenomenal. It was probably for this year. We've done other ones, but outdoor, like going to the Highlands in Scotland, just breathtaking outdoor, like just take it all in, right?
Yeah, Cari, you agree with those? Yeah. All All
Although
right.
the Oregon coast, we did have a lot of fun on the Oregon coast this summer with the dogs.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
It's
true.
just cold.
yeah, it's
That
cold.
yeah, you
Cold.
know, yeah. Cold, hot. Which climate do you want, Dana? We seem like both of them at different times in our life, right? It's all good. We lived in
That's
Lake
why you
Tahoe.
ended.
We lived up at high altitude snow stuff where Carrie would say, "Can you go dig out the window?" And she meant the second story window because the snow buried so high up at ski level. So there you go.
I know. I was with Cari when she left Bend and with Cari when she goes back to Bend.
Mhm. Yes, I got a snow shovel for Carrie though. She's all ready.
Did you have a snow scraper for your window, Cari?
Oh
Yeah,
yes,
it's got a little
I got
mitten.
her the one that has the mitten over to keep your hand warm.
It's the best one. It's the best one for sure. Okay, last one. The one AI trend you think we'll still be talking about 5 years from now?
5 8. I think. Listen, I think whatever we end up calling these things. I mean, what's next year is all about AI agents, okay, that operate in agentic architectures, and what's on top of AI agents, conversational AI, and what is conversational AI? Digital assistants. And listen, our digital assistants will evolve, so they're actually autonomous avatars that represent us and do things that we've allowed it to make decisions, review things, and it's not that far fetched. And we'll see, some of those earlier, later next year and in 2027. So that's going to continue with us. The rest of this conversation we're having, agentic, Gen AI, this is all a bunch of mumbo jumbo, TLAs. That stuff is all this buried, is this buried part of software architectures, frankly. And in most cases, this stuff's going to continue to get pushed into chips, and then it gets pushed into the network. But the human interface to AI is not going to go away.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. That was fun. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah.
Love it. So, um, when we're talking about using AI and really operationalizing it, um, what are you doing? What are you seeing? What are you doing related to marketing departments? And I know you guys are doing a lot of cool stuff, but as marketers, using conversational AI, what's the use case?
Yeah, no, great question. Listen, I've been a big fan, I think most people know I've been a big fan of HubSpot. We've been operating on that for seven plus years. And CMS, marketing, sales, the whole thing. I think HubSpot finally, I was kind of worried there for a bit, like, okay, is there going to be really innovation? And then they finally got the first releases of Breeze, and then to get the second release of Breeze, which is their AI agent, right? And listen, it's having it built in where it can assess, your content. Is it effective? Is it the right tone? It analyzes your data. It summarizes up. I don't want to see more dashboards of how many clicks and unique visitors. I just want to get the summary of it. And is it trained the right direction? So having kind of that digital assistant where I can actually ask questions. There's so many things. How to build smart segments, right? So they finally got off the word list to segments. How do I build segments based on particular things? Before I'd have to go and click, 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 click. Oh, I want that title. I want that person to build this persona based on this behavior. And now it's just becoming so much more efficient. And I'm able to go in there and just really kind of see, well, how well are we performing in these particular kinds of engagement and campaigns to enterprises versus software writers, and see how my team is doing, because as my team, my marketing team and others, we have just a ton of people inside of HubSpot, because it's our tool for engagement and understanding engagement behavior. I mean, this is what marketing needs. It needs to have an intelligent agent that can learn from you. And listen, Breeze is still baking, okay? So it's not the end all, but it's a damn first good step. If stuff that just like before, it's like you could just kind of waste an hour or two. It's just like, okay, now I can just go in there and just make it happen, and see how well things are performing or not performing, right? And that's really, I mean, I interact with a lot of CMOs and a lot of folks that are like, okay, because yeah, okay, great. We know how is your research insights going to help us? Where is it at? How is it going to help in the in the journey, and everybody's trying to find, the challenge I think for a lot of departments, marketing is probably in one of the worst, which is it's got all these different little tools. Oh, we bought that tool, we bought this tool, we bought this tool.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, there's nobody in the marketing department sitting there just like, okay, I'm gonna go build a little data store for all my marketing. It's like, guys, you're gonna have to pick a foundation and work with it. Okay. And all these different little one-off tools just create more little challenges that are getting everybody down the right path.
Yeah.
And listen, there's no such thing as nirvana yet, because there's no such thing as one tool that can do everything you want.
Yeah.
But we're making good steps, I think. And so you got to pick your, do you like Coca-Cola? Do you like Pepsi? Do you like Mountain Dew? Do you like Dr. Pepper? So figure out where your foundation is, and especially if you don't have a big budget. I mean, I was a big believer that you should have your CMS, your inbound, outbound marketing, just get it all unified. Don't have separate, I got WordPress over here, I got this over here. It's just bring it together and
Yeah.
then work with it, right? And yeah, we have to build custom stuff, and not everything's out of the box, not configurable. But that's okay as long as you don't muck with that underlying, technology layer that you've customized it, that you can't take advantage of the AI things on top of it. And this is the big revelation in the last 2 years in enterprise software. It's just like people went and then just customized all the core objects. Okay, I gotta customize and muck with the account, the company. Okay, HubSpot language, company's object versus Salesforce, the account object. I gotta go muck with I go change all the basic defaults, and now they try to apply AI, and it's like, oh my God, they're just banging their head against the wall because they should have worried about extending the things, not changing the core, right?
Yeah. I think that's really good advice, right? I I think it's going to be really interesting to see how it evolves. But yeah, I mean, we see so many people spread so thin on technology layers and what they're using and what they're doing, and not even like investing in tools that they're not even using to their fullest in general. And it's like, did you know that could do that and it could do this? Um, and it's like, I don't even know why you're wasting your money on it. So
Yeah, I don't. I think people they kind of run to, it's like everybody lets to run to the shiny object. It's really cool. It's like, I really want that. Then it's like, okay, wait a minute. Did we really look at what else is going on, and do my existing investments fit it? Are they on the right path? Is it okay to wait 6 months, 9 months? And it's just okay. You're not going to really lose in the marketplace just because your current software vendor doesn't have a particular feature for 3 or 6 months. There's plenty of other things you can improve. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
All right.
Dana, do you have any
Wow.
more questions for Mark?
Gee.
yes. So all right. So this may become maybe a new section of the podcast or a new segment of the podcast. So
Okay.
Cari's got a theory, Mark.
Yeah.
And so I did some AI sleuthing. This is going to be a new word that we bring in. And I think your comments around information you're posting outside the payroll versus or paywalls versus inside will be relevant here. So Cari has a theory that you're plotting to get a third dog. And so we decided to see if you've been leaving hints like socially that we might have the smoking gun. So I asked Chat GPT if
Yeah.
there was any credible evidence that you're secretly plotting to get a Samoyed or
Why would
any
I
other
leave
dog.
Easter eggs inside ChatGPT?
Well,
But tell me what you
we're just
found.
we're just making so you will be happy to know that Chat says they were unable to find any credible evidence that Mark Smith is secretly plotting to get another dog, at least not
I'm
publicly.
Dana. Come
Um,
on.
they do believe that you appear to be an active wildlife photographer with a
Oh,
lot of social media presence around that.
well, what's
Um,
funny is that when you have a name like Mark Smith, actually, I know the Mark Smith who has got phenomenal. There's one who's a photographer who does photography of eagles, and
mhm,
so I have 5 or 6 other Mark Smiths, and the
mhm.
challenge is you got some hallucinations.
Yeah.
I'm a
I
okay
did feed it
photographer.
I did feed it though your profiles.
Oh
So
boy.
I'm pretty good at my prompting. So I knew it was going to find other Mark Smiths.
Okay.
So
My
I
daughter thinks I'm
did
pretty
feed it your
good.
Facebook page and your LinkedIn page and I
Okay.
took your social media accounts, but in fairness, it did say you were gated on a lot of the stuff. So.
But it didn't investigate
It
my
did
TikTok.
not. So they
My
said there was
TikTok.
no obvious yet. It did tell me it could create me an evidence board.
Yeah.
Even though there was no evidence. So
There's a lot of evidence, Dana. But you just didn't get to it.
I didn't get to it. So are you willing to admit to Cari that this is indeed a plot already? Are we going to have this
She already
conversation?
knows I'm on a plot to get a third dog. The question is whether or not I'm actually on a monthly basis. Am I at home more than 15 days a month? This is the question.
Was that the rule, Cari? 15 days a month in order to get a dog?
Dana, it's a no. It's a no.
Yeah, well,
but
she says no.
Mark also has a theory that he can like slowly chip away.
Yeah,
and
I know that my kids will not influence this topic because they know it's not a path that they'll be successful. We got Taz because Otis really needed a friend.
Okay.
And now Otis is kind of like, he's the show boy. He's like, and now Taz needs a real play buddy that he can actually hang out with, and a non-show dog. And so you never know what might happen by the end of 2026. I could give you a market assertion because I create market assertions for a living. But there is a 8% probability by the end of 2026 Taz might have a friend.
Oh. Mm-hmm. All right, let's ask AI. Is there research that shows 2 dogs is better than 3?
Doesn't have to be now we can get a rescue. The question is when Taz is 2.5 and Otis is 4, there's always room for a 2-year-old rescue in our future.
I don't know where we would fit 3 dogs, Mark. I honestly, and I mean, unless it's a little dog and I could put it in my purse. That's
so Dana knows that unfortunately our kids went off to college and work life, and we still have 4-bedroom houses. Okay, so when we don't have room for them, we actually have spare bedrooms that could be the dog room. Okay,
each dog could have a bedroom. Okay, but you guys, they do say with kids, like 3 is where it gets hard, right? Because you're outnumbered. So that's gotta translate to dogs, right? Like 2, you guys each can take 1. 3, you're outnumbered. If you're gonna go 3, they say in kids, you're better off having 4. So maybe we should just go straight to 4 dogs.
So Dana, there's a certain HOA policy that only allows 3 dogs.
Oh.
So you can't go over 3 unless
But if they all look the same and you don't take them all out at the same time.
Most people do say they look the same. How you tell them the difference? But when you're around them for 28 years, you can tell really fast, the difference.
Yeah,
between
well, they
them.
just won't. Yeah. Okay, that's hilarious. So
Dana, I don't know. Did we come up to? Was there a conclusion here or not?
Well, the conclusion is he just told you I plan to get one in the next year. So you're either screwed, Cari, or you're gonna have to work on this. I don't know.
Listen, an 80% probability by end of 2026 is not a 99.9% probability.
80% is pretty high. I mean, I'll take those odds. I mean, if I were in Vegas, I would take those odds.
Yeah, they're better. Well, yeah, okay, yeah, they are better than the slot machine odds for sure.
This was great, Mark. Thank you. We know how busy you are. I can vouch that you are in the same zip code that I am at this moment. So
it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. We'll go have some time before you take off again. Yeah.
Go look at pictures of puppies. So
thank you, Dana. I appreciate you. And Dana, there's always a room for a Samoyed in your house too.
Oh, we're good.
You got lots of room, your barn, your backyard. It'll be a beautiful thing.
I don't have much room for anything outside of hockey.
This is true. This is true.
My 13-year-old. Yeah, until that part is done. See, in fairness, we'll see. Once Ian is in the NHL, then we'll talk.
Yes.
Yes. So, and you'll have to get a dog assistant to take care of.
Then we'll be going to Canada, right? And
maybe I'll take a robot dog. I'm totally down for an AI dog that I can turn off when I'm done.
Yeah, and you don't have to clean up after them either.
Maui's so cuddly.
Yeah, eventually they'll be cuddly, Cari. We won't tell the difference, right? Is that real or is it an AI dog?
Oh my gosh, this is great.
Thanks for joining host Dana Harder and Cari Baldwin from Unreal Digital Group on Get Real, the podcast for candid conversations with entrepreneurs, investors, marketers, and business leaders to explore their wins, failures, and the lessons that shape them along the way. If these real talk moments resonate with you, subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time.